Cause number 329890. Case of style Yesenia Conception Flores. Ms. Flores, would you please come forward? Is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Flores, please raise your right hand. Ms. Flores, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
You may put your hand down. How you doing, Ms. Flores?
Pretty good, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Ms. Flores, I have a document here that is titled Affidavit of Indigency. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 2 of this same document, Ms. Flores, is that your signature above the line that says defender signature?
Yes, sir.
Now, prior to signing in this document, did you have opportunity to read the document?
Yes, sir.
And did you read the document?
Yes, sir.
And did you understand what you read?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in this document true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ms. Flores, after reviewing your this document, you meet the eligibility requirements for the appointment of a court-appointed attorney. And your attorney that's being appointed to represent you is Mr. Mark Faggart. Flores. Ms. Flores, please stand on the forex, and our court coordinator will provide you with information to contact your attorney. And once you're finished in here, you'll be free to go, and you have a blessed day.
Go behind him.
We're in session in cause number 329912. Case is style of State of Texas versus Earl Wilson. Mr. Wilson, would you please come forward? Mr. Wilson, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Wilson, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Wilson, you may put your hand down. How you doing, Mr. Wilson?
Good, how about yourself?
I'm doing fine, Mr. Wilson. I have a document before me. This document is titled the information. In this document, it alleges that on or about April 4th of 2021, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of evading arrest detention. Do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Mr. Wilson, how do you plead guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Yes,
Now, Mr. Wilson, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
yes, sir.
And are you pleading guilty because you're guilty?
I'm pleading guilty because I'm guilty.
Okay. Mr. Wilson, I have before me a document that is titled judge's explanation of rights to defendants without an attorney. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature? Did you sign it? You didn't sign it.
I ain't signed it. I thought I said it. I apologize.
Mr. Wilson, I have a document before me. This document is titled Judge's Explanation of Rights to Defendant Without Attorney. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Wilson, is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
And are these your initials on the line that states, I want to waive my right to an attorney and represent myself?
Yes, sir.
I also have another document before me. This document is titled Waiver of Counsel for Purposes of Entering a Guilty Plea or Proceeding to Trial. Mr. Wilson, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
I also have another document before me, Mr. Wilson. That document is titled the Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. And do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Now, that box that's checked at the top states that this is a Class A misdemeanor. The range of punishment is confinement in jail for a term not to exceed 1 year, a fine not to exceed $4,000, or both such fine and confinement. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Wilson, are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, Mr. Wilson, this document also contains the information that you have a right to have a trial by jury. Do you realize that? Yeah, you have a right. Every defendant has a right to have a trial by jury if they decide, however, they can waive it. And you have waived your right to have a trial by jury. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Also, you also have a right to have witnesses to come to court, testify for or against you. You have a right to ask them questions called, I see, the direct examination, cross-examination. You have waived that right as well.
Yes, sir.
Now, also, you have a right to have discovery. Discovery is the evidence, to see the evidence that the state has against you. I see some initials on this bottom line, EW, and it reads, I do not request discovery of the evidence. I waive my right to request discovery of the evidence in this case and enter a plea of guilty or no contest. Are these your initials?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And there are another set of initials at the top of this document on a line next to a box that's checked guilty. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
On the next page of the same document, Mr. Wilson, there are a set of initials, a signature above the line that's titled Defendant. Did you sign this document?
Yes, sir.
I have another document here, which is titled Trial Court Certification to Defendant's Right of Appeal. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is that your signature at the bottom of this document?
Yes, sir.
And there are two boxes that's checked at the top of this document. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box that's checked states that you're waiving, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Wilson, prior to signing and initialing these documents that I've just mentioned, the one on the tablet and the ones on paper, did you have an opportunity to read the documents?
Yes, sir.
And did you read the documents?
Yes, sir.
And did you understand what you read?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me, states exhibit number 1 State, you like to offer state's exhibit number 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, Mr. Wilson, I have before me state's exhibit number 1. State's exhibit number 1 is the first document on the tablet that is titled the misdemeanor plea admonishment. It has your initials on page 2 and your signature on page 3. Now, the state would like to use this document as evidence against you in your case. Is it all right for the state to use this document as evidence in your case?
Yes, sir.
Okay, no objection. State's exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Now, Mr. Wilson, is there any evidence that you are currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
I guess.
Now, do you have any mental illnesses that are
No,
affecting
sir.
your ability? Okay, so you understand what's going on?
Oh, yes, sir.
All right. And Mr. Wilson, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. And I will also find that your plea of guilty and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
The agreement is for 90 days, probated over 18 months, a $750 fine, and 75 hours community service.
Mr. Yeah, see here, already. Does he have an affidavit in this? Probably not. Okay, Mr. Wilson. The state is offering that you serve 90 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not have to serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail because you'll be placed on probation for 1 year.
Yes, sir.
During the 1 year probationary,
It's
excuse me,
18 months.
18 months. Let me back up. The state is offering that you serve 90 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not have to serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail because you'll be on probation for 18 months. During the 18-month probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $750 plus court costs, and your total fine and court costs comes to an amount of $1,057. And you'll also be required to pay $60 each month for probation fee and for probation fees, and $15 each month for your analysis fee. Your total monthly installments, that is how much you would have to pay each month, comes to a total amount of $140 a month. Will you be able to pay the $140 each month?
Yes, sir.
You will also be required to perform 75 hours of community service, and you will be required to adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of this probation. Mr. Wilson, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Wilson, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Wilson, please stand on the X in front of our clerk and follow her directions. And once you finish following her directions, you'll be free to go, and you have a blessed day.
You too. Thank you.
Okay, those are your papers right there. Any questions to the probation foreman on the top? And you can go there today until 1:30.
Back in session in County Court at Law Number 2, Jefferson County, Texas. Arraignment docket scheduled for 9 a.m. on July 27 of 2021. I'm the presiding judge, Judge Terrence L. Holmes. The first case we're gonna call of people that did not appear is Samantha Nicole Jones, cause number 326-354. Ms. Jones was scheduled to be in court this morning at 9 a.m. for the court's arraignment docket on July 27th of 2021. Ms. Jones' name was called at about 9 a.m. at the courthouse door by the court's bailiff. Ms. Jones did not answer. Ms. Jones has not appeared in court while the court was in session. The time now is 11:58 a.m. on today's date. Mr. Bailiff, could you please call the name of Samantha Jones?
Samantha Jones. No response, Your Honor.
Samantha Jones' name was just called by the court's bailiff. Samantha Jones at the courthouse door. Samantha Jones did not answer. A reasonable time has passed to give Ms. Jones an opportunity to appear in court. State, do you have a motion?
The state would move for bond forfeiture at this time, Your Honor.
That motion will be granted. A warrant will be issued for the rest and the bond will be forfeited for Samantha Jones in cause number 326-354. Our next case is cause number 327-838. Case style of State of Texas versus Ophelia Phillips. Ophelia Phillips was scheduled to be in court at 9 a.m. for the court's arraignment docket. Her name was called by the court's bailiff at or about 9 a.m. at the courthouse door. She did not answer. She did not appear in court while the court was in session. The time now is 12 o'clock noon, and Ms. Phillips has not appeared in court. A reasonable time has passed to give Ms. Phillips an opportunity to appear in court. Mr. Bailiff, would you please call the name of Ophelia Phillips?
Ophelia Phillips. No response, Your Honor.
Ophelia Phillips' name was just called again by the court's bailiff at the courthouse door. Ms. Phillips did not answer. Reasonable time has passed to give Ms. Phillips an opportunity to appear in court. State, do you have a motion?
The state would move for bond forfeiture at this time, Your Honor.
That motion will be granted. Ms. Phillips' bond will be forfeited and warrant will be issued for arrest in cause number 327-838. We're in session in cause number 328-376. The case is styled State of Texas versus William Russell Owens. Mr. Owens was scheduled to be in court at 9 a.m. for the court arraignment docket. His name was called at or about 9 a.m. by the court's bailiff. He did not answer when his name was called at the courthouse door. Mr. Owens has not appeared in court while the court was in session. The time now is 12:02 p.m. on today's date. Mr. Bailiff, would you please call the name of William Owens?
William Owens. No response, Your Honor.
William Owens' name was just called by the court's bailiff at the courthouse door. Mr. Owens did not answer. A reasonable time has passed to give Mr. Owens an opportunity to appear in court. State, do you have a motion?
The state would move for bond forfeiture, Your Honor.
That motion will be granted. And Mr. Owens' bond will be forfeited. Warrant will be issued for his arrest and cause number 328-376. Next case is cause number 328-814. The case is styled the State of Texas versus Josue Israel Gutierrez. Josue Israel Gutierrez was scheduled to be in court this morning at 9 a.m. His name was called at about 9 a.m. by the court's bailiff at the courthouse door. Mr. Gutierrez did not answer. Mr. Gutierrez has not appeared in court since the court has been in session. The time now is 12:03 p.m. on today's date. Mr. Bailiff, would you please call the name of Josue Gutierrez?
Josue Gutierrez. No response, Your Honor.
Josue Gutierrez's name was just called by the court's bailiff at the courthouse door. Mr. Gutierrez did not answer. A reasonable time has passed to give Mr. Gutierrez an opportunity to appear in court for the arraignment docket. State, do you have a motion?
The state will move for bond forfeiture, Your Honor.
That motion will be granted. Mr. Josue Israel Gutierrez bond will be forfeited in cause number 328814, and a warrant shall be issued for his arrest. This will conclude the calling of the announcement docket scheduled for 9 a.m. on July 27th of 2021 in County Court at Law Number 2, Jefferson County, Texas. Judge Terrence L. Holmes presiding.